Unless somebody has an insight that would be useful here for our friend.
Yeah, I do.
You do? Go ahead.
There is a bucket here. A bucket. You know what bucket is?
A what?
Okay, a basin.
A what?
Okay, or a pot.
I understood bucket.
Okay, you understood bucket. Okay, and there are things here now.
Yeah.
You bring all those things and put them inside that bucket with letting nothing out, putting every single thing inside that bucket.
Okay.
Now you say, I put the whole thing inside the bucket. There now you see the whole, isn't it? The bucket, if you are taking the bucket, you are taking the whole thing away, leaving nothing completely, isn't it?
No, I prefer you don't ask questions. Finish your demonstration.
Okay, then you pick the bucket with the whole thing there, with the whole debris, everything, cleaning the whole thing and putting it inside the bucket. So outside the bucket is only the bucket. There is nothing else. Did you see it?
Okay, have you finished?
Yes, I finished.
Does that help you or no?
No,
Tell me you didn't help me.
you didn't.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. But let's, just to conclude this. What would be a thing? If something is the whole, there's nothing outside of it, because if it's something outside of it, it's not the whole anymore. It's only a part. Since there's something outside, it's only a part. Precisely. If there's a whole, there has to be parts. Because if there are no parts, it's not the whole. It's only the one. Only the one is everything, but has no parts.
Yes.
So if you have a whole, it has to be unique and have parts. So, see, but that, you can say bullshit or rhetoric, but that's typical illogical thing. We're obliged to take a concept and go fully with the logic of it. Some people will say, I don't care about that, it's meaningless, it's purely abstract, logical metaphysics, but I tell you why it's useful. It's not useful because it's Plato that, but I found this kind of stuff very useful to decode somebody's thinking. Very useful. Yes, because that's the implication of ideas that are very strict. It's not hermeneutics, but oh yeah, that's very important. Because what you're doing, and what's much more common today, is hermeneutics. Interpretation. I'm going to give a specific meaning to this. That has nothing to do with hermeneutics. You're familiar with hermeneutics? Yeah. Has nothing with hermeneutics. Has to do with, I would call it, logical metaphysics. There's no, and that's going to sound strange to you maybe, there's no debate to be had. That's strange. There's no debate. Because there I'm appealing to a truth of reason. There's no discussion to have. If a discussion to have, fine, but we'll do something else. You see? We're into another exercise. But in that exercise, a whole can be only alone, can be nothing else, at least have nothing outside of it, so it's only one whole. And secondly, a whole has to have parts. And therefore, why did I say this? Because that was your question. Initially, does that mean that the whole is imperfect? Well, by definition, a whole is imperfect. By definition, if we keep going that, why is a whole imperfect? Because it has parts. And what has part is a form of imperfection. The only thing that can be perfect is the one. Because it has no parts. And it can be separated. What has parts can be separated. What has no parts cannot be separated. So therefore the whole is imperfect because it can be separated. And therefore it has contradictions. So a perfect whole is not a whole. If there are different wholes, it's not a whole. A whole with no parts is not a whole. And an imperfect whole is not a whole. A whole implies parts, imperfection, and to be alone.
Then what is a whole?
We don't care. It doesn't matter. Yes, you know. A whole is something that has part, that's imperfect, and that has nothing outside of it. That's a whole.
Okay.
But of course, that's very, again, we're into logical metaphysics. Now, it's a kind of exercise that I personally always find enjoyable, but I know many of my colleagues are not interested or think that's used as a rhetoric, and I can understand. But I'm not there. All I'm saying, and that's why otherwise I wouldn't talk about it because that's not the issue here. It is very useful when you decode somebody's speech, because it has to do not with interpretation, but seizing the essence. And again, for you, but mean nothing, but seizing the essence of a speech. And that's what's interesting about it. In other words, when I say, what does this mean? I don't want the person, oh, it makes me think of, or it can have that meaning. That's called interpretation. It has to do with what is the essence of a given speech. Now, for some people, this is a meaningless thing. So, forget it. If it means something, nothing means nothing, no problem. Because in hermeneutics, it means nothing, for example. If you talk about, but in a tradition full of rationality, for Leibniz, for example, it's very meaningful. And I use a lot of Leibniz there. Say, principle of sufficient reason. You know, very simple. Okay, so I'm not trying to shovel you that world vision, and all I'm saying is a useful tool. But you don't have to use it. Do you see the distinction I'm making? I will try to show you at other moments when that happens. I will try to show you, because I think it's an important issue, what is it all about, and why it's not hermeneutics. I will try to show you when there will be a concrete moment it happens, okay? Yeah. Yes. Okay. But you get the thing, unless you agree, but it makes, you understand?
I see. Yes. But can I come back to my question?
Which one?
Because I used the word whole.
Okay, which question? Just the question?
About problems and coherence.
No, give the question.
Okay. So, if we always have problems, and then I said, there can be no whole coherence, but I leave the word whole.
No, can you please, because now I'm lost. What is the question?
Then there can be no coherence.
See, can you answer a question with there? You see, the question starts with, it's very simple, what actually on the place, because see, what you have now, pardon that word, friends, you're rambling on, right? You're just, you know. The question is, you know, you recognize somebody's there. He says, I'm going to ask you a question. You listen to the first word. Give me the first word of a question. Well, you don't know. It's very simple. You have to have those in your mind, otherwise you know the other person is not with you. If the question doesn't start with why, what, who, when, where, how, it is not a question. It's a person rambling on. It's a person, and see, and that for me, that's the first. Hey, stay with me. That's the first thing. I don't care what he wants to say. I don't care his idea. I care nothing except he is not asking the question. He doesn't know where he is. You see? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
That's called the attitude. You know, the question has to start with very specific thing. That's the first second of the sprint. But see, I'm talking to you, and what are you looking at right now? You're looking at your notes. So why should we talk? See, if I speak to someone looking at his notes, I stop. Does it make sense to you?
Not completely.
No.
Thank you. That's not completely. Great, huh? It depends a little bit, not perfectly, not necessarily, not completely. I propose we stop here, and you wonder about this, okay? Because see, that's what I look at. Where are the eyes? Where are the eyes? You know, the professor. Okay, students, today we will talk about the third chapter of the, you know this? Have you ever seen this?
Yes, I have.
Okay? But don't worry, we have the whole week. We'll come back. You feel frustrated?
A bit, yes.
Only a bit. I'm not doing my job. Hey, I must be getting old, you know. I'm doing my best and all you do is this. You're hard on me, you know.
We have all week.
To get more frustrated. Okay?